My name is Matthew Abbas, and I'm running for the position of Councillor in Aurora. There are so many sports metaphors that are part of our culture. Even in business, we talk about coaching in teams. Sports participation lies down the foundation for success in our lives. I believe that exercise leads to improved mental health and improved cognitive ability. Team sports have additional benefits. Participation by children and parents also increases the sense of community. A strong community acts as one voice when dealing with common issues. A strong community supports neighbors through their ups and downs. A strong community needs events and activities that bring together to help us succeed together. This is not if sports should be supported by the town, but how can we do more? It is not that the fields are underutilized, but what opportunities exist to bring more people together face to face. Technology has reduced the face-to-face interaction that helped build our community. In this provided alternative, entertainment that competes with physical activity. I'm proposing that the key to increasing activity is the use of technology. People that use smartphones are becoming increasingly more relaxed and cognitive, slower. I see opportunities to use the sports fields in the fall that engage people of all ages to meet, activities that can bring participation from nearby towns and facilities and microtourism. Some of these are already being done. In Oak Ridges, they provide participation treasure hunts with the help of a cell phone GPS can bring families out for fun and encourage park hopping so that residents learn more about different parks that exist in Aurora. Drone demonstrations and competitions could help bring microtourism.
I'm Ian Clark, former athlete, football, rugby, and hockey. And some days when I wake up, my body reminds me these days that I'm over 40 and I played football and rugby and hockey. My wife is a better athlete than I was. She was a gymnast and varsity skier. And I enroll my daughters in soccer, rugby, and hockey in our community today. My wife and I volunteers as trainers and coaches for our daughters' soccer and hockey teams. And as a family, we make use of all the facilities that we have to offer in Aurora. Sport and physical fitness is something we encourage and try to teach our children. I believe that opportunities and facilities that support a healthy lifestyle should be available to all of our citizens. I think that our rate of growth in Aurora has outpaced our investment in sport and recreation facilities. I'll use the Magna properties as an example. Shortly south of Wellington on the Magna properties, we're going to develop over top of what you see there some soccer fields with medium density housing. That's our population going up while our sporting facilities are going down. And I read a report recently last week from the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario that said that out of 10,000 children aged 18 to 12, that a third of them lacked a basic level of physical literacy, which meant that they lacked basic skills like throwing a ball and the ability to support their own weight. Participation recently gave Canada a D rating for fitness. And I would like to help foster a culture of fitness in Aurora. I would like to be able to help Sport Aurora achieve their goal of Aurora being Canada's most active community. How do you do that? I'd like to have conversations with the school boards around integrating our facilities with that of education in order to allow our children to use our facilities during the day when they're empty and promote higher sport literacy. I'm interested in programs like Swim to Survive, which teaches water safety to children. I'd like to implement Learn to Skate programs that would provide equipment to our children in order to teach them the basics of skating. And indoor soccer or baseball tournaments between schools during school hours to give our children opportunities as an introduction to these sports. It's about integrating sports into their curriculum, because you can't have sport tourism if we don't invest in the athletes of tomorrow.
When I gave my speech at the town hall, I said that it's the truth. We all want an active and fit community. And our sports groups need and deserve our help. Problem is, we don't have enough land. And what we did this term in council was really not the best thing to do, to take employment land and take it offline and use it for sport. We need the jobs, we need the taxes from employment land. But what are you going to do when you have so many people who want to be active and we need sports fields and we don't have any land? Now, I remember when I first stood here, I suggested that we bring forward the timeline for the Stuart Burnett lands. And that actually was done. When we planned the 2C lands, that's the land west of Leslie, north of Wellington, the council of that day said we should buy land from the developers, pre-development land. When that came to the next council, that was not done. Now, if we had done that, we might be having a completely different conversation tonight. Going forward, our recreation reserve is in deficit. We do need to think outside the box. If we're going to have another rec facility, that's going to cost a lot of money. Maybe we need to work with developers and think of doing something where the rec is on the first 2 floors and you have condos or a business park of some sort above that, so that we can have that partnership and bring in money. Nobody in Aurora should have to step aside because they don't have enough money. And it is a rich community, but I know from running Hotspot, there are lots of kids that don't have enough money, and we need to take care of them. And last thing, thanks to all of the volunteers who make so many things possible.
Good evening, everyone. I thought I'd give you a quick highlight of my exposure to sports in Aurora. I've been an active member of the Aurora Soccer Club for 15 years, the last 2 as a board member spearheading its new strategic plan. I'm very proud to announce that this year my soccer club, some members are here, came in second last, that is. We're rebuilding. I've been a member of the community, of the Aurora Community Tennis Club. My kids have been active in soccer, tennis, gymnastics, you name it, in Aurora. During my time on council, I voted for the Stuart Burnett Baseball Park. In fact, I was the one who pushed for the dugouts to be part of the budget. I also voted for the St. Max Artificial Turf, 2 great sports venues that I'm very proud of. 2 areas that I would like to focus on. First, continue the implementation of the Aurora Sports Plan, particularly the sports leadership area. Also, as it states in the document, update so that we can adapt to cultural diversity, income disparity, and aging community. Second, recreational land acquisition, partnership, and better use of our current assets. There are some things that I'm not so happy about. You'll see a trend in my speeches. The Aurora Soccer and Tennis Dome. Did you know that they are a for-profit company and they don't pay taxes? Between town taxes, regional taxes, school taxes, and utilities that you pay for, we have lost around $850,000 in the past 13 years. Ladies and gentlemen, these sweetheart deals have to stop. Aurora, it's time for a dramatic change. Let's take back control.
Hi, I'm Rachel Gilliland, and I'm running for Town Council. Like many Aurorians, our family's been involved in sport and recreation for our entire lives. My husband and I have loved coaching lots of levels of play, and we continue to stay active in activities such as hockey, basketball, and we also enjoy walking the many trails in Aurora. We've met some of our best friends through the sports community, and it continues to be the fabric that holds us together. With today's stressful demands, keeping a healthy mind and body are important lifestyles we all should have the opportunity to benefit from, including those with accessibilities. So let's talk about those benefits. Personal health and overall well-being for all ages, positive social opportunities for our youth and building confidence, and potential economic benefits for our town, such as sports tourism. A successful sporting community requires strong organizations, a huge volunteer base, and a population that wants to participate. With our diverse and changing population, we need a modern approach to sport and recreation plan. So how should Aurora plan for this long term? Well, With a projected growth in population, I believe there's a need for a SWOT analyst of our current facilities to help identify our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Let's look at ways to acquire grants and form partnerships with school boards to share those underutilized spaces. And let's continue to protect our green spaces connecting our trail system throughout our town. And let's keep our residents engaged. This simply isn't a matter if you build, they will come. A well-thought-out plan involving growth projections, cultural input, and encourage usage data is essential to keeping Aurora active at the most affordable fees possible. And finally, with 2 hotels on the horizon, we will now have the opportunity to host all these sporting events that will not only showcase our town, but also bring new revenues to our businesses. Together, we will need to proactively look for these new economic opportunities. If elected, I'll be your advocate to invest, protect, study, and grow and keep committed to keeping Aurora active. So on October 22nd, please vote for Gilliland.
Hi, I'm Derek, and yes, I kind of am a bit of a hockey fan, but just remember. So walk around advertising. Anyway, thank you very much, Port Aurora, for inviting me here tonight and for hosting the meeting. Decided to change the attire for the sport. Initially, the kids were saying, wear my goalie gear, but I figured that'd be a little hard to move around. Anyway, I've been a resident for over 40 years, both as a child and also raising my own family here. And sport and recreation has certainly been a major part of our lives. Not only through my involvement, I've developed some long-term friends, but I've also seen what the sport groups can do to help people when they're suffering tragedies in their lives. And I appreciate that very much. I continue to be involved in local sport clubs, volunteering as a coach, trainer, team parent, and convener. I was also excited to be invited to participate for the last 3 years in Hockey Helps the Homeless. And for the last 6 years, I've been a referee at the AMHA. Sport is about participation, it's about inclusion, and it's also about individuals and communities coming together. I'm sure it's fair to say that our sport and recreation is going to undergo some major changes in the coming years. And if we take our forecasted growth and the changing demographics of our town, we need to look at new opportunities. However, in order to manage these changes and support initiatives and new facilities, there's a couple of things I'm going to ask for. And one is I want to know true facts of what the utilization rates of our current facilities. I also want to understand what the registration levels are. And only then can we make informed decisions on what we do moving forward. I'm running out of time, so my goal is to work with Sport Aurora and its groups, sport groups around town, to develop and enhance sport initiatives, to get to our diversified and new cultural backgrounds of our residents, support events in tourism and economic benefit, and promote Aurora. I mean, it's exciting to see we'll be on the national stage with the LPGA coming to town next year, as well as the hometown hockey in December. Anyway, I've been cut off, so again, I'm Derek Hammett. I look for your vote not only on October 22nd, but starting tomorrow, online.
I'm David Hurd, and sport is different for me now. I used to play hockey and loved slow pitch softball, but concussion concerns took me off the ice and fields. And I began to volunteer as an umpire in charity tournaments and enjoyed the mentorship of community leaders like the great Whipper Billy Watson. I am not alone. Many like me cannot participate in mainstream sports. We can and need to adapt our changing populations of seniors and those with accommodating needs. I am ready to lift those lofty goals into the council chambers. I would love to adapt myself and learn how to play sledge hockey and return to the game I embraced at an early age. I envision seniors games coming to Aurora and our region, hosting many events here. Special Olympians should grace our fields and facilities with a tourist drawing effect. We are Aurora and inclusive in sports. I have assisted the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame with inductee suggestions and content. I am looking forward to helping them with a dozen more suggestions that I've researched extensively. And I want to thank our citizens for relighting my passion for sport from a safe and prosperous angle. Most of all, I see the Aurora Community Center coming alive again with not only sporting events, but sports expos and tourism events. But with capital improvements that begin with a pen and grant writing, not rushing and not crossing our financial I's and T's. I also dream to see that in a team effort in council that sees those benefits and lofty goals. And Aurora will be sporting a new look on how we deliver great inclusivity in activity. Great inclusivity in activity. Thank you. Oh, and by the way, and in sport, together, we will be heard. Thank you.
My name is James Boyce. I'm running for council. My sports career ended a while back when I got diagnosed with osteoarthritis. It hit me pretty hard. I'm proud and honored to see the group of people here that are honoring the sport within this town and all the youth that are involved in it. My vision goes a little bit further than what we heard a little bit before in this. If any of you know what the Iroquois Center and the Ability Center in Ajax and Whitby area is all about, that's what I'm about. It's a large multi-complex of arenas, gymnasiums, swimming pools, workout facilities, all catering to sports, competitive sports, and people with disabilities and challenges. That's what I'd like to see. We're about to build a new facility. We need to think big. We need to think 30 years from now. That will push sport into a different dimension when it comes to tourism. If we have at least a 50-meter pool, if not 2 regular pools, we can't do we can't do swimming tournaments. We can't do provincial tournaments. The second thing we need is sports fields. We need to reopen lands that are now not used. And call me crazy, but I see a bunch of hydro land sitting there doing nothing. We need to open up our conversation with the provinces and with Ontario Hydro and say, why can't we use it? Why drive from one end of the town to the other to drop one kid in one field and one kid in another? If you can centralize them, great. My job as the councillor will be to listen to all of you who are involved in the sports community and find out what you need, but I think we need to think big. We need to think bigger, not for today, but for the future. On the 22nd or earlier, I'd love to have your vote. Thanks.
Hi, good evening. I'm Sandra Humphreys, and I've been your counselor for the past 8 years. I've really enjoyed and the privilege and honor to represent you on town council. For me, I think it's absolutely critical to continue to acquire sports field and facilities to, I have to put these on, and as per our Aurora Parks and Recreation Master Plan. Our residents deserve a wonderful place to live and play. The demand for more sports fields and facilities for a growing community, while keeping per fields as low as possible, is important to allow all families to participate and enjoy sports in their hometown. Being active is crucial for our health and wellness, which is why I chose to support the Hallmark lands to be purchased for sports and recreation. This caused some discontent in some, however, I felt it for the greater benefit for Aurora. In addition, I strongly supported the Mavernack lands for new parks, which were opened up this past May, a great alternative for residents versus potential subdivision. I'm excited for the future of our town for sports and tourism as a destination. In addition to sports fields recently purchased and more planned for the near future, we'll increase the opportunity for tournaments in the town of Aurora with 2 major hotel chains coming, as mentioned earlier. And future ease of accommodations will allow town of Aurora to be a premier sports destination. Sport Aurora has provided a special forum to celebrate our sports heroes, such as the Sport Hall of Fame, along with their annual sport induction event, which we all look forward to, and in which I had the honor to be on the original council for the first induction event. I'm very proud of the impact Sport Aurora organization has made and know that they will continue to be a vital part of our community. I wish to personally thank Sport Aurora for their partnership, leadership, and positive impact on our town. One of the amazing initiatives is the Activate Aurora. From a personal perspective, Sport Aurora came to town and shared this initiative with us and asked council to make a commitment. We did a small short video hosting the event, or promoting the event very quickly, and I made a personal commitment to honor that choice, which has made a great change in my life and health and wellness of my family. So thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Harold Kim, and it's been an honor to serve you as a councillor for the last 4 years, and it'd be my hope and an honor to serve you again for the next 4 years. Just a little bit about me. My favorite sport to play is basketball, but unfortunately no one really passes me the ball, so I gravitate towards long distance running. Let's look at all the programs offered by Sport Aurora. All Kids Can Play, Coach Training, Aurora Sports Hall of Fame, Activate Aurora, Promoting Sport Tourism, Volunteer Recognition, Breakfast of Champions, Healthy Eating and Living. All these programs embody what Aurora and what most municipalities should be about. Now let's summarize about what all these programs embody. Supporting the underprivileged, promoting equality, everyone deserves an opportunity. Supporting volunteerism, helping people at a young age to value a healthy lifestyle. There's a correlation between the socioeconomic condition and a healthy lifestyle. Therefore, it is not unreasonable to project that sport and healthy habits can be seen as an instrument to catch poverty at an early age. Honoring people who have put Aurora on the map, honoring and promoting excellence in our local teams and high school students through events like the Mayor's Breakfast of Champions, promoting the local economy through sport tourism, promoting gender equality through promoting women coaches, promoting teamwork, and the list goes on and on. It's not hard to support an organization that does all this. Now, every person likes to have an identity to place. That identity may come from architectural features, community and cultural events, and sports activities and teams. Sports is a valuable part of Aurora's identity, and Sport Aurora contributes their share to promote that identity. My commitment to sport in Aurora is real. Last year, I was pleased to put aside funds for the 2018 budget in case we needed funds to start the purchase of land for a future multi-use sports facility, a world-class facility that would help facilitate more recreation and sports programs for our growing population. If I'm fortunate enough to be re-elected to Town Council, similar to my cultural partners motion where I initiated a plan to have a better funding and operating model for our cultural partners, I'd like to engage Sport Aurora, staff and council to investigate how we can take Sport Aurora to the next level from a structural perspective in order to scale the programs and services times 10. Thank you.
I'm Anna Croplin, and I want to serve as a counselor in Aurora. Through my professional path and volunteer career, I have acquired relevant knowledge, skills, experience to be effective as a counselor, to listen, learn, and lead. I'm here tonight not only to introduce myself and share my views on sports and recreation in Aurora, I'm also attending to listen to what you want and what your needs are, to work together so that we can create our goals. Sports and recreation are pivotal towards good health of every community. You've heard that over and over. Everybody has said that. And I think we can all agree on it. When raised in an environment that is physically active, with easy access to sports, recreation, people have solid standards of healthy living. It is vital that Aurora provides safe, accessible facilities for all types of sports to encourage healthy living. We've heard about the comprehensive parks recreation master plan. That has to be updated. It's since 2016 that anybody's really looked at that. Let's check that off. I know I have very limited time. There's a couple little things that were brought up tonight. I just want to let you know about the Jumpstart Canadian Tire Fund is actually depleted right now. So for October, November, and December, there are a ton of families out there that are looking for subsidies to get their kids to be active. So that's a management issue I have. I don't think that there was enough money going into Jumpstart, maybe from the town, maybe not being sponsored enough, but obviously the need is out there. I'm not questioning the management of council, but I am questioning about how much need is out there and that we need to support these children even more. Thank you. Oh, wait, I got my song. Hold on.
Oh, you got your welcome song.
I have a welcome song. Okay, Keep Moving, Don't Stop by Sam Roberts. Thank you.
My name is Daniel Lajeunesse. I'm a hockey coach, a soccer coach, a runner, a cyclist, a swimmer, and a climber. I participated in numerous runs and races and just completed my first 70.3 Ironman. The reason I brought that up is because when I decided to run the Ironman, it was the same time I decided to run for council. I decided at that time to see if I can use only Aurora facilities in order to do my training. It was 4 or 5 months of using Aurora facilities, and I learned a lot during that time. And especially since it was something where I was using them on a day-to-day, I figured it was a great test. So Aurora has great facilities, beautiful paths, great sidewalks and roads, etc. However, we need to make sure that we are using these services properly, and that we maintain this infrastructure. Dynamic hours, dynamic availability when possible, and ensuring less downtime of facilities is a great start. We must repair, and when we must repair our roads and our sidewalks, let's do so a little bit more intelligently. For example, temporary pedestrian traffic controls would support our local commerces, and as well when we decide to walk down the paths, run, or cycle in our neighborhoods. Also, let's ensure that our developers clean the roads that they use in order to do the development, and forcing them to clean their environments at least once a week. Something that other neighboring communities do, but Aurora does not. My sport plan is focused on working with Sport Aurora, Activate Aurora, getting people outside to walk, not only for their health, but for the health of the community as a whole, getting our children to play soccer, play hockey, and making sure that the facilities exist that we need and are available. We also have to make sure that the green spaces are properly maintained and also available. The issue, I guess I talked slower than I thought. So thank you very much for your time. Once again, my name is Daniel Lejeunesse. If you wanted to ask more questions, I'm available. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Vicki McGrath. I'm registered as a candidate for council. Thank you for coming tonight, and thank you to Sport Aurora for the opportunity to promote my position on sport and recreation. As active members of the community, my family and I enjoy walking, running, and cycling on Aurora roads and trails. I have competed in dozens of running races and triathlons. My husband is a golfer and plays baseball, and my daughter is a competitive equestrian. Through my business, Nurse Next Door, I sit on the Activate Aurora for Older Adults Committee with other businesses and community partners to consider how to increase physical activity among seniors. Since my clientele is predominantly the elderly, I would advocate for an accessible, age-friendly sport and recreation dialogue. According to the Aurora Parks and Recreation Master Plan, the town's population growth will largely be driven by persons 55 years of age and older. This means implementing the Aurora Sport Plan and Parks and Recreation Master Plan with consideration for all ages is imperative. In addition, extra consideration must be given to gender equity. According to Statistics Canada, only about 1/6 of Canadian women regularly participate in sport. The Aurora Sport Plan also indicates there continues to be a gender gap in sport participation. Women and girls are generally less involved in sport activities. The town of Aurora, Sport Aurora, and community partners can play a key role by encouraging and growing girls and women's participation in sport and recreation. Finally, protecting our valuable green spaces for their contribution to passive and active recreation and important wildlife habitat and biodiversity would be on my priority list. I continue to support the implementation of the Sport Plan and the Parks and Recreation Master Plan, and would press for gender equity, accessibility, and age friendliness, while recognizing the need to build these priorities within the budget process. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Adam Locks, and I'm humbly asking for your support as I run for town council. I grew up in Aurora, spending my teenage and university years on the pool deck and skating rink at the Aurora Family Leisure Complex. My mother volunteered with the Aurora Skating Club. My father founded the local Air Cadet Squad. After 10 years at that facility, I became a full-time staff member in the Recreation Department. Aquatics, youth engagement, and recreation is really my true passion. In this capacity, I proudly co-authored a report that brought forward the automated external defibrillation program to Aurora. I worked with York Region to bring Swim to Survive, which Ian noted, to this community, which at that time was fully funded by provincial money. I'm confident I've contributed to a generation of swim instructors, and lifeguarding in Aurora. Though I'm now relatively far from Aurora, I still keep my certifications current. I've been formally recognized by Parks and Recreation Ontario for my volunteer service to push the boundaries of the recreation industry. I am considered a leader in recreation. I'm proud to say that I've now lived in Aurora for about 25 years. My wife and I now raise our 2 wonderful children in this great community. I've had the pleasure of watching their games and practices in the same great facilities and sports fields that I played on as a child. The Master's degree in local government focused on strategic planning and community development
25 years of volunteerism, and professional full-time experience managing important city services, I believe that I have the skills and knowledge to tackle the issues that are important to you. I represent a responsible and forward approach to leadership. I want to work together to develop a responsible vision for building new recreation spaces in the future. I have direct experience with building a fitness center, library, and significant capital projects. Recently, I'm proud to have worked with the team to open one of York Region's first fully accessible and universal washrooms. I want to work with you to develop responsible financial planning. Together, I know we can ensure a sustainable model for recreation which allows us to build for tomorrow without compromising the spaces we enjoy for today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
My name is Michael Thompson. I'm asking for your support to re-elect me as your Aurora Town Councillor. It has been my honor to serve our community over the past 8 years. During this time, I have used my business expertise and experience to help provide leadership, strong financial management of your tax dollars, and a practical and common sense approach to the issues. People who are physically active live longer, lead healthier lives, and feel that it adds not only to their well-being, but to their quality of life as well. Sporting activities are also an important part of children's development and provide them with character-building experiences. On the playing field, they learn respect, leadership, responsibility, perseverance, and many other positive character traits. Sport, recreation, and leisure activities are investments that provide significant benefits to our families' everyday lives. It also brings us together and helps build community. A good friend of mine has 2 young kids, and they're very much actively engaged in soccer and hockey and dance and a number of different activities. And through their involvement, they've got to know other Aurora families that they might not have otherwise known. And that friendship that formed on the field between the kids now spread to the parents and off the field as well. And this group of friends get together on a regular occasion, whether it be a pool party or a barbecue or a camp out. And that's helping to build community because it brings people together. I've always seen sport and recreation as an investment in our community. I have a strong record of decisions that serve our community and demonstrate my commitment to sport and recreation. My sport platform is on the web, and you can see all the things I've done. But some of the more notable ones is I championed the first sports plan. I worked with Ron Weiss and Sport Aurora in the development and brought it to council. That plan will guide staff and community sport organizations in the delivery of quality sport programs, community partnerships, public engagement, and investments to enhance sport delivery throughout the town. During my time on council, we've approved over $40 million worth of capital projects that really add to the repair and replacement of our fields and our facilities, as well as for the future growth of what we need in Aurora to maintain the service levels that we all see and expect. To me, it's always a good investment, and I will continue to support sport and recreation. Thank you very much.
I'm Dennis Van Decker. Thanks for inviting me, and I want to be your protector on Aurora Town Council, protecting your tax dollar, residents' rights, and the environment. I'm an entrepreneur. I install solar systems, and with my wife and 7-year-old son, we're very active with town events, volunteering with our church, as well as sports. I've been a soccer coach. This year it was baseball, and our passion is skiing, as per my introduction, where I work as a ski race official, and when I'm really lucky, on World Cup ski cross races. I am a former vice chair of the Aurora Committee of Adjustment and was an economic development officer for Sarnia Lambton while I still lived here in Aurora. I have a chemical engineering degree from the University of Waterloo. Engineers think from a problem-solving point of view, and I want to bring that mindset to the business of the town of Aurora, including issues of sports and recreation. Despite reading many reports in preparation for tonight, I don't really think I have all the data right now to give full support to financial initiatives that was asked for us in preparation for tonight. But I am very supportive of the goals of Sport Aurora. And with their diligent approach for better utilization and low and no-cost solutions, I think we will work well together in bringing accountability to sports projects in Aurora. I do support sports tourism, spit it out. I am pro-business, but I want to see more details on the business plan. And John Abel mentioned some good points about that earlier. For new facilities, I'd like to see some new sports involved. Outdoor lacrosse, roller pad, hockey rink at Mitchell Park, frisbee golf course, ropes course, and other innovative and potentially tourist drawing facilities. I want us to track and publish publicly facility usage so we can all look for better utilization before we build. I want more dog parks that are going to be used park areas and simultaneously keep dogs out of schoolyards and playgrounds. I want to replace YRT with ride-sharing service so our kids can get to activities and we can get better utilization. I want to simplify parks and rec bylaws. Right now, you may not know, you're not allowed to climb trees, skateboard, or ski. I want to change that. For my complete platform, drop by my table or check out my 20 videos on Facebook, YouTube, or my website, vandecker.com. Thank you for listening and for your vote and listening to all of us. Hopefully everybody's still awake.